Continuing coverage of spring football here on GoSycamores.com. It's time to continue to get to know the staff. And that's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jeff Hecklinski. And Coach Hecklinski, it's great to meet you. Welcome to Terre Haute.
Very nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's great to have you and talk to the staff. You guys, whenever spring comes and it's spring football time, what's really your emotions like and as you get started?
It's exciting. I mean, this is what we're here for. And I think the players and the energy, and I think building up to it, they were ready to get on the field. We were ready to get on the field with them. You know, a lot of stuff that we've been talking about in theory, now they get to go out and do. They get to actually see it work, and you know, we actually get to coach, which is really what we love, and being out there on the field. You know, that's the most important thing. And we had a good first practice. We got a lot of work to do, but it was a very good start.
Coach Mallory, when was the first time you met him and your impression of him?
Let's see, my wife's uncle was his dad's offensive line coach at Indiana, so you know, our families go way back. Probably the first time I met Kurt was at one of the conventions at an Indiana reunion type organization thing. Shoot, probably all the way back. I think my daughter was once. That'd have been about 17 years ago. Trying to think all the way back, but you know, Kurt and I have worked together. You know, we spent 4 years together at Michigan, and you know, obviously have a lot of respect for him, his family, his wife Lori. You know, our kids, our middle and youngest are the same age as his middle and youngest, so and we've developed a pretty strong relationship, and we're very grateful for the opportunity that he's given us to be here.
I know you've been in the state of Indiana before, being at Ball State and now being here at Indiana State. How much more special is it to be in the state of Indiana, knowing, as you brought up, the Mallory name,
right,
just being in this state?
Right. Well, the state's an important state, you know, and you know, not only does Kurt have a background with Bill and you know, going to high school here. You know, my dad was head high school coach here, won 3 state championships at Mishawaka Marion High School, was the head coach at Richmond High School. I was born in South Bend, and you know, grew up, spent a good portion of my life in Richmond, Indiana. So, you know, this is home. It's home for my wife. She was born up in the region, and you know, this is really where we want to be. And this is an unbelievable state. The really high school football is become very important. You know, you can see the quality and the caliber of the programs that are in this state now, and you know, we're going to build our base from this state, and you know, this is Indiana State, and it's exactly what it should be. It should be built from the state of Indiana.
You brought up how high school football has really made a boom.
It
so
has.
Knowing to be able to take credit or really hound down in the state of Indiana, why is that important for this staff and this program?
Well, obviously proximity. You know, I mean, this is our state and this is our home. And you know, there's 4 major universities here that play, you know, Division I FBS football, whatever you want to call it. You know, and really, you know, from that, our base should come right after that. And if you look, you know, the rule changes that have taken place for Indiana high school football, you know, over the last 10 years have really increased, you know, allowed the high school coaches more quality time with their players, and it's allowed them to develop their programs. And their programs, you know, really from 10 years, you know, those kids now that are starting to funnel through as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors were at the beginning of those rule changes. And so that's increased the caliber of football, it's increased the competition, and it's made football more visible now. And so we're, you know, look, I grew up in Indiana basketball. You know, I grew up in the Tiernan Center going to watch Jay Edwards, and you know, it was Richmond High School, Marion High School back in the day, and they were always in the state championship, and I was in row 10 or row 12 at where the Pacers used to play. And you know, and it was different, but now I think football, because of the visibility and because of the quality of coaching out there and because of the programs, I think football is starting to catch up, which is a good thing, because it creates opportunities. It creates opportunities for kids to go to college, gain a scholarship, and play the sport that they love. And believe me, there's enough opportunities out there, and there's enough opportunities out there for us in this state to go build our base and go build our program through the state of Indiana.
Let's get into the group you have right now and really the offensive philosophy. What is your offensive philosophy, and how has it kind of developed over time?
Score. How about that? You know what? Our job is to score. You know, and regardless of how you do it, whether you run it, whether you throw it, whether you're an RPO, whether you're spread, it doesn't matter. You know, offensive football, our job is to score, and we got to score more points than the other team does. You can't win if you can't score, and so, you know, part of it is building an offense around the talent. And what do we have? What do we have here? What's coming in? And really putting a foundation together. And you know, I think right now what we're trying to find is that foundation, and working with, you know, Daryl and I have worked together. You know, Roy played for me, and we've worked together. Sam and I worked together at Pueblo, so we got a good working relationship. Really, we hit the room, and we've all been together. You know, Tyler I've grown up with. You know, I've known Tyler since he's been little. So, you know, it was great coming in. There hasn't been a big learning curve for us together as a staff. It's really been a smooth transition. And once the staff is on the same page, then it goes to the kids. And our players, I think, feel the camaraderie and the togetherness of our staff. And you can see it start to build with them now.
How normal is that? I know whenever you join a staff, of course, there's probably a reason you're joining that staff, and that's due to connections.
Correct.
But you mentioned really all the intertwining that this staff has. How
Right.
unique is this group, knowing really it hasn't taken much time for all of you to click?
I think for where we are, you know, I think it's very unique. You know, I think one of the things, you know, some of it's timing, and some of it's opportunity, some of it's Kurt and us being together. You know, I think what's more important to a lot of us in our stages and where we are in our career is, you know, family and the comfort of, you know, being able to be close and our families being close. And, you know, I think it just kind of, you know, was the perfect storm and it hit. Now we still got to go produce. You know, you can have a great staff, but if you don't produce, it doesn't mean anything. And so, you know, the bottom line is we have to produce, you know, now the results that everybody's expecting, and we got big expectations. You know, we got high expectations, probably higher than have been here, and they should be here. You know, those expectations here at Indiana State should be high, and there's no reason for it not to be. And, you know, part of it is us raising those expectations. Part of it is, you know, we do have a staff that has great experience. But along with that now, we have to continue to raise and live up to those expectations, and we got to hold our players accountable for that.
Well, Coach, my last question to you was going to be, what kind of offense can fans anticipate this fall? I would guess it'd be scoring.
Scoring. Points. How about points? You know what? If we don't score points, then we're probably in trouble. Last time I checked, you can't win with zeros on the board. And so, you know, I can tell you this. You know, I really, in the short time that I've gotten to know all of our players, I think you're going to see an energy level. I think you're going to see a toughness. I think you're going to see a different brand of football, you know, and it's kind of, you know, reaching, you know, you're going to hear us talk a lot about, you know, kind of the dawn of a new era, you know, and really it's bringing a different passion to Indiana State football. And hopefully what the community feels is a different passion. You know, when we hit the field, it's going to have a different feel to it. It's going to have a different energy. You know, from Kurt to the staff, to the players, to the managers, to the administration, to everybody that's around. You know, just a different energy and a different feel. And so I think, you know, hopefully the community feels that and the fans feel that too, and it becomes an exciting brand of football. There's going to be bumps in the road. I mean, this is never a smooth transition. You know, what we anticipate and what actually happens are going to be two different things. But it's the ability to adjust, and it's the ability to put our kids in a position to win. And that's what we're striving for right now through these next 14 practices and through the spring game and getting into the summertime.
Coach, I know it's a really busy time for you and the staff. Thanks so much for the time for joining us here
no
on
worries.
GoSycamores.com.
We're excited to be here.
Once again, that was Coach Hecklinski. For more on Coach and the rest of the staff, stay tuned to GoSycamores.com.